That's all right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Just to your camera. This is Matty-G coming at you live right here on TMG. This is Thursday, so you know what that means. Myself, the Dudleys will be here eventually. Our Paynemaker, and of course, our resident villain are in the house for a little bit of wrestling talk. Too sweet to all of y'all, gentlemen. Paynemaker, what's happening, brother?
Oh, it's pretty good actually for me. We had really these past 2 weeks have been very exciting for wrestling. I'm not just talking about Wednesday too. Monday and Friday was very entertaining, but it's clear right now I mainly just want to talk about what happened just yesterday. But other than that, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I can't wait to get into this.
Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna because Raw and SmackDown, they're kind of building towards the horror show Extreme Rules. I kind of like that name because they're building some pretty dark shit going on there. Taking somebody's eye out's a little intense. The swamp match, we all know it's going to be a cinematic match. Which, if we're looking at Boneyard or even Firefly Funhouse, awesome. If we're looking at the backlot street fight or whatever the hell you want to call it from NXT, that's a hard no, dog. But anyways, let's get to the man with the opposite opinion of everything. He is our villain, Mr. Haven. What's happening, brother?
What's up, dude? What's up, guys? I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm ready to talk wrestling, man. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm just excited to talk about some wrestling, man. We always got opinions that we want to talk, man. So I'm ready to talk my shit.
And just so our people looking out can tell, down in the description on either video there is a link to our Streamlabs. Leave a tip, we'll pop it on screen, whether you want to comment, ask a question, or just call one of us out. It is what it is. In the world of kayfabe, bring it, but it is what it is. So I want to talk about Fyter Fest. I heard online somebody referred to Fyter Fest Part 1 as like the pre-show. Yes, Fyter Fest Night 1 was pretty banging, but Night 2, come on now. I could possibly see a 5-star match coming out of that. Whether it be, Hangman and Kenny, Private Party looked pretty good. Like, they look better than they did before. Now, whether that could be Kenny and Hangman or just them improving, what have you. And then the 8-man tag match. I'm telling you, when the man himself releases his stars, I think Dave Meltzer could easily give that a 5-star. Let's start it. You know what? My dumbass forgot. Let me pull up those matches because.
Yeah, man. Pull them up, brother.
Pull them up.
It happened.
Yeah, everybody watching, if you guys are watching live, we want to thank you guys for being here. We're trying to climb the rankings. It's one of the best, shows about wrestling. All them other shows out there, they think they know what they're talking about, but we here. We run this shit like it's ESPN, or Fox Sports, man. We're going to try to, we're going to be talking diligent. We're going to be talking knowledgeable, We're going to bring you the facts. Well, I am. These two motherfuckers don't know shit, but, I'll bring you the facts.
Like I said, our villain's always got, villain enterprises on his mind. Mighty Scroll better look out because Haven might be taking over. So, gentlemen, the first match of the night, like I said, was the tag team champs, Private Party, and Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Villain, kind of break down the match for us just a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, man, this match was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. I see some divided stuff. When it comes to wrestling, there's always something divided, no matter what. Fans are, fickle. Quote Daniel Bryan. But man, this match was great, man. Private Party really showed their stuff off. It looks like they got the ring rust out of them. And they're about their business. There was a couple close calls, where you thought, oh, maybe, no, they didn't, win the titles. But yeah, man, it was a good match. It was better then to be honest, in my opinion, it was better than the match that Hangman and Omega had versus the Best Friends. I thought this match was a lot better, and it was just a way better match than the first week they had, Fyter Fest. So yeah, man, this match was about his business, and I picked that Omega and Hangman were going to retain the belts, and they did, because I think when they do drop those titles, everybody's waiting for a heel turn, but I think they really have to start building that up again. They can't just come out of nowhere. I mean, you could make it shocking, just coming out of nowhere, and then have the mystery surrounding why one of them turned. But I think they still need to get those plans. I don't know if they have those plans flushed out yet to really go there, so they might drop them at a pay-per-view. But yeah, to start the show, this match was really good, man. It was a banger.
Do you think that because on BTE they brought up the cleaner, that was Kenny Omega's heel persona in New Japan. Do you think that was just kind of a little bit of a sprinkle, or do you think that what if they both went heel?
Let me touch on that though. One thing that AEW, I mean, sure, they like to do sometimes surprising turns, but they always have like their supplemental shows like Dark, and of course the Young Bucks YouTube channel being the Elite, to always start sprinkling and to add some flavor into storylines. It's one of the reasons why whenever you hear if you're not like a hardcore follower of AEW, so whenever you're watching Dynamite like the last couple of weeks, whenever you saw like the Natural Nightmares, or you saw like get a title shot, you're wondering why that. Dark answered that question by saying it's because they were undefeated. And whenever you ask why were the Best Friends putting their title shot up against Les Sex guys, it was mainly because of what happened on Dynamite. And then they would always try to use BTE regarding Hangman Page, though, because let's be honest, Page's storyline's mostly coming from BTE. Before he started doing the whole cowboy shit, it was on BTE where you were seeing that him was starting, where he was slowly isolating himself from the Bucks. And it's the same thing with Kenny. They did the same thing with Kenny by him slowly bringing back that cleaner persona. They teased it always, most like every 3 or 4 episodes on BTE. This most recent BTE, Colt Cabana was trying to do that little comedic thing he did with Kenny, and then you see Kenny in the far away of a hallway pulling the broom. It shows there that the cleaner's coming back. They're just going to buy their time. But I do believe that both he and Page are going to be healed. No one's going to turn on each other. And although I thought Private Party would win because they have been better now that they're back in the ring, because thankfully with the whole they're getting more ring time. Other than when the quarantine happened, they were just always at home, and we saw the effects of that, how their matches were a little sloppy. But I do give credit to Kenny and Page for always resting. They were always resting on during this whole shutdown. Well, it did help elevate Private Party, and they did make this match great. So maybe the next time they fight against each other in a pay-per-view setting, we might see a change in Private Party, or they'll tease some other teams going down the road.
And see, in this, I don't think Private Party lost anything for losing. In my opinion, they gained something, because like they went out and put on a hard hitting hell of a match. So like, and that last shot, that shit just looks deadly. Like that.
I love the fact they have a name. I love the name, The Last Shot.
Yeah, because if you know anything about Kenny, that V trigger is his go-to, like, and then that buckshot lariat, that is impressive. Like he pulls that out of nowhere.
Oh, most definitely. Trying to see.
So, alrighty, let's go.
Jacob's here.
Jacob.
Yeah. Wonder if he can hear us.
What?
Wondering if you could hear us.
What?
Are you there, homie?
What?
You need a beer?
What?
Vodka?
What?
Can you hear me?
Whiskey sour?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were doing a bit. Hey, come on.
Why don't you hop out?
What?
Whiskey sour.
What?
An amaretto sour.
So it's a Diet Dew kind of night.
Oh no, man! I was hoping you keep doing that. I was gonna list off some more cocktails.
So Jacob, what do you think about the match?
Which match? Private Party and
Yeah, the opening for the Fighter Fest week 2 or night 2.
I did not get to see that one yet.
Oh,
So I heard it was pretty good. I heard Private Party showed out.
yeah, they did. They got a bright future. Those guys.
And after their last match, I'm glad to hear they showed out.
Yeah, they definitely did. So let's jump down the card. Joey Janela and Lance Archer. Ryan, kind of hit us with the play-by-play, and what'd you think?
Well, one thing's for sure with Janela and Archer, they made sure in this match that both of these men were just there to fight. They were there to beat the hell out of each other. And one thing I do appreciate with Archer, like, it doesn't matter who he drags out from the entrance to the ring to beat the shit out of. I always love that. Most of the time, it was always some random guy. But this time, they made sure for Archer that he was going to try to make it personal with Janela by carrying Sonny Kiss on his shoulders and then knocking him down. And then, of course, that just added to the intensity of this match, as you see with Joey. Even though he was not trying to be that hardcore wrestler, or at least that wild brawler we see in the independents, it was clear against Archer that wasn't going to cut it. Joey had to start being he had to be strategic to fight him. I loved that when he was able to reverse from the blackout, how at first it looked like the counter. He countered that blackout into an elbow right across the throat. I like how he and Sonny Kiss were able to take advantage of Jake Roberts' distraction of the referee, even though it didn't help. But it shows there that Jake Roberts, even though he's a great manager, sometimes his presence can be hurtful or harmful to his client. And I don't think it's a tease to anything. It's just kind of a constant reminder. He can't always bat 1,000 when he's distracting that ref. And one thing's for sure, when Joey brought out that table, when he was setting that up, Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. My bad.
I'm going to say, am I lagging on your end, man? Because
I'm a little laggy. Go ahead.
Okay, no worries. No, I was just saying, when that table was set up, most situations of a match, you never see that being, in most other companies, sometimes the table will be used like within the next 2 minutes of a match, or within most other companies, that table will only use like in post-match beatdowns. But with AEW, they showed here that table was going to be a pivotal role in this match, as you saw Joey taking a nasty-ass bump from that blackout onto that table. And one thing I did appreciate here is that they showed that Lance Archer, even though he may have lost that opportunity for the TNT Championship, they did not forget who he was as the Murder Hawk. They did not forget that he and Jake Roberts are there to take care of business. And I do like that he and Joey Janela, regardless if this was just a one-off match, but I do see a potential rivalry that's going to stretch out at least from here till All Out. Like, it can even tease handicap matches of Janela and Kiss versus Archer, or tease the possible of Jake Roberts getting a second person to represent with Archer. This guy. What's up? Oh, I thought someone was suggesting a wrestler for Roberts to pick up.
No, nobody said anything.
No, you're
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me hearing things, or I'm just not getting I'm getting more paranoid that my dog is still barking outside. but like I was just saying, yeah, just the idea of him being paired against Joey Janela, and now by extension Sonny Kiss, seems that there can lead to more with Lance Archer going down the road. And I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing maybe at Fight for the Fallen, Archer's going to fight Sonny Kiss, or it's going to be saved for a Dynamite episode. But I did enjoy this match.
Sonny Kiss actually next week is challenging Cody for the TNT title.
Okay.
Just add that in. I like the fact that they kind of went more New Japan with this, where they, allotted the table spot, because right there they could have, called that match right there and called it, a DQ. But the ref decided to go ahead and just kind of let it play out. And I like that. The fact that they're, like Villian was saying in our private chat, they kind of stick to more of a New Japan rule, where they let shit slide a little bit. So, and it showed that Janela can wrestle.
Yeah, that's no question, man. Janela could wrestle his ass off. Just people, for some reason, people still think of him like a gimmick of like hardcore. But that dude could go in the ring. He's proved it when he wrestled Kenny Omega. He had 2 great matches against Kenny Omega. One was a hardcore match, and the other was just a regular match. And so this guy could go in the ring. I was surprised because Murder Hawk has been kind of being, he's kind of has the MO of a monster. Goes in the ring, just beats the shit out of somebody. But after he lost to Cody, now they're kind of letting him have like matches where it's a little more balanced, or maybe not even balanced, because Janela is such a smaller guy. But you still see that stuff happening where there's a little vulnerability where you're like, oh, maybe he could lose this match. And yeah, this match was way better than I thought it was going to be, because I thought it was going to be like a squash, Murder Hawk would try to get his like, win streak back up, just squashing people. But yeah, when he came out with Sony Kiss and just slams him to the ground, I thought that was cool, because he wasn't in the Joe Janela's corner. So you're like, oh, where's Sonny Kiss at? That was a nice wrinkle. Yeah, like Ryan pointed out, the Jake Roberts spot, so Sonny Kiss could jump off the top rope, do his move. They had a little tag team stuff going on. And I did like the table spot a lot, because once he did that, he went out the ring. He grabbed him by his head, threw him right back in, and just pinned him. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't like he just picked him up and the match went on for a couple more minutes. But yeah, this was a solid second match. I give it if I had to rank it, I'd give it a nice three stars. I thought it was a good match.
Definitely, I like that answer. That's a good one. I'd give it a 3. It was hard hitting. Like it showed that both of them have the ability to hit, and some of those transitions that they did were like when the Murder Hawk picked him up and he, reversed the Black Arrow, or he did that DDT where Murder Hawk had him up in the air and he did it almost like into a DDT and just splatted his ass. I really enjoyed that too. I was surprised. I kind of thought he was going to squash him, but then I'm watching it and I'm like, damn, they could actually go a little while. And they did, it was a good 10-minute match, And
I do agree with the villain. This definitely was a more New Japan style. It was hard hitting. And to touch back on what I was talking about, that AEW likes to do their multi-connected storytelling with Dark and BTE. For a while, they have been doing a good storyline with Janela, how he feels disconnected and displaced among the card, and now him teaming with Kiss has helped him get his groove back, because originally they were undefeated on Dark. They were undefeated as a tag team till they lost to Brody Lee and Colt Cabana. But even then, but I love the fact that they are slowly, just piece by piece, moving away from Janela, the crazy, hardcore, wild, out of control wrestler, and they're showing us Janela, the wrestler. This man, he can go pound for pound against someone like Lance Archer.
I'm just disappointed that my prediction didn't come to fruition. I thought maybe Sonny Kiss was going to seduce the Murder Hawk, and then, in the ring, and then Jake Roberts has to like smack the Murder Hawk, like to bring him snap out of it. And then the Murder Hawk gets embarrassed. And then he just finishes Joe Janela off, and then he finishes Sonny Kiss off, and then, they walk out with Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts just look at it and I'm like, what the hell's going on here, And so,
I like the fact they had the snake. Like, I love that little just where he came out with the bag with the snake, and that snake's in there.
I really thought that was going to be put to play, but it really did. But I liked how that with Roberts, he's really showing you, like on screen, even when the camera's not on him, what little things that he's doing that can influence his attitude for the long line. Like when he had that bag, it almost did look like he would have used it at the end. But then after that, his distraction almost cost Lance Archer. You can tell that it was the last thing on his mind after Lance got that W. Like you can see, because he was doing, like, if you look back at Janela in the ring, like he was considering bringing that snake. But then of course he's like, no, I'm getting back into manager mode, because right now my boy got the win. I want to make sure I give him that next victory.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I give this a strong 3. That was definitely good. Definitely a good one.
Don't forget Jacob. He hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, we need one half of the Dudley Boys. You did see this match, right?
I saw highlights. I don't have a TV right now, so I watch what I can on YouTube. And what I saw.
If you sign up for Bleacher Report, you can rewatch not just pay-per-views but old Dynamite shows.
Okay, I'll have to do that then because what I saw was
I was able to rewatch the Stadium Stampede a month after Double or Nothing.
Yeah, because what I saw was really good. So I want to see the whole thing.
All right, so I'll go next. So Taz comes out. You know, Taz and the Machine Brian Cage come out. First thing I noticed is Taz has a black bag with him, which usually means, you know, they're going to unveil something. And, you know, he walks up, Tony Schiavone comes up, and they have a discussion. And he's like, you know, and being an ECW at heart lover, the way he was talking, like, it reminded me of what happened in the 90s with Taz, where he was kind of getting who he was supposed to compete for the ECW championship, kept running or was sick. And then all of a sudden he unveiled back in ECW, the FTW, or the Villian, what does FTW mean for our viewers? Do you remember?
It's the Fuck the World Championship.
Fuck the world.
Fuck the world. And it looks
FTR to win that championship, and we can finally say fuck the revival.
and it looks like this. I mean, it looks exactly like it did back then. I'm gonna be honest,
I like the orange strap from old ECW shows. I like the orange strap, honestly.
I do too, but it's a total throwback. It feels like something you would see in 90s pro wrestling. And before that, I don't really, you know, we don't really talk about vignettes a little bit because there's so many of them between them, but just a little, you know, sprinkle of salt for probably another week or two. Darby Allin did his little, I don't even know what to call them, movies. They have so many different
home movies or like his home movies most likely.
And he basically called Brian Cage out, which in our private chat, I finished the book that Mox is going to win, which I think we all pretty much would agree to that. Mox is going to retain, and then that FTW title will be kind of a prop in their next feud, which will be Brian Cage and Darby Allin, which I think they've already got a story there. You know,
they do have a story.
You know, he took out Darby in the Casino Battle Royale.
Yeah. But even then, during the times of Dynamite, Taz was trying to get Darby Allin to be a representative, and Darby was like shooing him off. So they haven't forgotten.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I was taking a drink.
Oh no, that was my final line. Yeah, they have not forgotten that. And Darby Allin, one thing I love about his character is that even when he's not on the show, he still finds a way to make sure you don't forget him. Like when he's taking out throat hits, that teased his match against Sammy at Revolution. Like he kept doing those little vignettes. Him first, he was talking like just like a white cutout, like a white paper. Then he started bringing out like a flamethrower to let you guys know I'm gonna burn that motherfucker. And then when he came back, and then when he came back on a Dynamite leading up to Revolution, he didn't have to say a word. His music just hits, lights go out, music hits, people know it's him. He skates to the ring and he takes names. You see Darby Allin, he has his character on lock. One thing I definitely want to see with Darby Allin is that when he does make that return, whether or not his rivalry with Brian Cage goes anywhere, I want to see Darby Allin either as TNT champion or one of the next top contenders for the AEW championship.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna jump in because Ryan didn't even talk about the damn title. Y'all just jump so far and shit. Well, I'm gonna talk about the title. I'm gonna talk about what actually happened on Dynamite last night. So yeah, Taz comes out. He's got the black bag. He's got his little orange towel. You know, and it's good. You know, he's talking and he's getting comfortable on the mic. You know, one thing that I did like about this is because that title, he owns that title. He created that title. WWE does not own that title, so the one thing that really dawned on me was like, wow, man, like Taz had this in his back pocket for like 10 years, like when he was in TNA all those years, maybe he never got, to voice his opinion on certain things because he was just an announcer, and yeah, he was a manager a little bit for the Aces and Eights, but he never once brought the title out on TNA. He never brought the title out, never like chose a guy to get the title. So maybe that was never in the cards. Maybe he wanted to do that and they were just like, nah, because we don't own it. But that's what I like about this company right here. Taz probably had the ideas like, yeah, I'm partnering up with this guy. I like this guy. We talk, we're doing stuff. How about, I bring the title in and, he starts defending that title, because, we all think, well, I don't know what we all think, but I think that, Cage is going to lose next week, so he'll still have the FTW title and he'll still defend it on air. So it looks visually it looks good when you see a company, when people are coming out, and you see different titles, you're like, oh shit, look at this guy's fighting this title, this guy's defending that title. So I think it's really intriguing, and I hope, I like the black strap. I did prefer the orange one. I agree with Ryan. The orange one was cool. I actually make this belt sometimes in my games, for my ECW brand. I always bring that belt back too, so they can have another belt in the fold. But I think this is cool, man, because right now it's like, now they have 3 singles men titles in the company, and anybody could fight for them. People could wrestle for them. We know who the heavyweight title is, but these other 2 titles right now, they could be neck and neck. The TNA title and the FTW title could be like neck and neck as like a second title, third title. We don't have to look at them diminished like, oh, well, that's just a third title. That's for jobbers, whatever. So I think it's really cool. I can't wait to see when he starts defending the title. In his matches. Moving forward.
Hold on, Jacob. What do you got on the FTW title? What's your thoughts on that? Him bringing that back?
I thought it looked good. I liked it. I like that they're giving Taz something to do. I think he and Brian Cage they're probably my favorite pairing in the company right now, and I'm interested to see where they go with this belt. I'm very interested to see where they go with the belt.
Yeah.
Because I don't think. I
gotta say one thing. I gotta say one thing. Renegade shit. Renegade shit. I don't know what that means, but I don't know what the hell that meant, but okay. Maybe Taz said that in an old promo.
ECW, like I can't remember most of his promos, but I know that I'm pretty sure Joey Styles may have said whenever that if FTW title was introduced, he must have said it was something that only a fucking renegade would do, like make his own belt. I mean, it to me, it's renegade shit shouts out. It's a callback to ECW. I just can't pinpoint it, but that title, despite the fact I like the orange and how much it pops, the black strap is fantastic. And I like how the belt has its simplicity down to where it's just FTW across, those middle fingers at the end, even though TV, they're going to take those middle fingers out, depending on what kind of belt Brian is, what kind of strap Brian Cage is going to take to the ring. And at the same time, you know what? It could telegraph that Brian Cage might lose, but at the same time, Mox did, even though with his respective partners, his wife tested positive for COVID, even though he tested negative. I mean, let's just be honest. Brian Cage, he's currently the only, other than Moxley, he's the one person who's still showing up to Dynamite. Even though Moxley, he has the freedom to show up to Dynamite whenever he wants. But I think maybe they might double belt Brian Cage, because after what just happened with NXT, I'm pretty sure AEW still wants to be within the top conversation. I mean, they're not going to compete with them. That's one thing for sure. But I think what would be special is that not only you make Brian Cage an even bigger competitor, an even bigger monster, not only is he given the title, the FTW title that makes him the baddest son of a bitch on the planet, but you give him the AEW championship, automatically whoever is going up against him has to bring that damn fight. And I think it would speak volumes if we get Darby Allin versus Brian Cage for either one of those championships. If Brian Cage is double belted, I would love to see Darby Allin go up against him, because then we know Darby Allin can take the punishment. Brian Cage is a punisher in every sense of the goddamn word. And I think not only will the promos from Taz, but you add the vignettes from Darby Allin, maybe some collusion with John Moxley. We're gonna have a fucking brawl between either of those three factors. But that's my fantasy booking. That was awesome. Title was awesome.
I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon for Mox to drop the title. I think because of the COVID situation and the fact he's not been able to, run with it, I think they're going to hold off on giving that up. But I predict that they could even have this fight end just like a spoiler for our little NXT talk shortly, where Candice LeRae and Mia Yim, where she just falls back and her arm landed over the top of her. That could happen in that fight.
Okay.
Where it's just they're both fucking TKO'd and Mox's arm just so happened to falls over the top of him. But Jacob, do you think that Mox will drop that title? We'll get to it later, but do you think it'll happen?
No.
Okay. I've been looking
not against Cage.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to talking about this match. It is FTR, the Bucks, versus the Lucha Bros and the Butcher and the Blade. This was a 5-star match, if I could ever say it. It was It started off kind of like the way FTR would, that hard-hitting, slow build, and then it just turned to 1,000. And Jacob, did you see this match?
I saw most of it, and I want to say that we have 3 of the greatest tag teams in wrestling right now, and then the Butcher and the Blade, but they didn't feel out of place in this match at all. I haven't particularly liked most of their matches, just a personal thing, but this one they looked like they belonged, and this match, like what I saw, was fantastic, and I am not upset at the finish at all.
I'm kind of surprised. I like it.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm kind of surprised by it, but I like the fact though that even in that match they had storytelling throughout. We had the Butcher and the Blade going after FTR, or the Miss Super Kick into what is his new name?
Harwood.
Dan
Yeah,
Harwood.
See, I always want to go back to the revival names, and I'm like, I know it's not them anymore. But
it was either Harwood or Wheeler, I think. One of those guys.
And they both sound the fucking same, so it's kind of like, well, god damn it. But this match was banging. Like, yeah, Haven, take it away, homie.
Yeah, I agree with Jacob 100%, man. They have 3 of the best teams there, and what's crazy is none of these teams have the titles right now. They got a team that came together with the titles, and that's what's going to make it so difficult when you're booking stuff, man. When you bring all the super teams in, it's like I'm giving Tony the props, man. Him and those guys, because that must be tough, man. Figuring out like what's the next step, man. But this match, I'm gonna focus on this match right here. Yeah, man. Like Butcher and the Blade, when they first came in, I was like, man, these guys are fucking jobbers. I didn't respect them at all. They didn't care about them. But since the Kova thing, the first time they came back with the white outfits, I was like, yo, these guys wrestling okay, all right. Then they wrestled again. I'm like, okay, you got my attention, And this match right here, I was like, oh shit, okay, now I got to give them a little respect. They were, to me, I thought they were going to be the weak link going in, but they meshed well with the Lucha Brothers, and the Lucha Brothers are just on another plane right now, man. Those guys are just on another plane. And that one move that my boy Phoenix did when he did the fucking Canadian Destroyer, I'm so sick. I don't know why people can't call it the name. Maybe when you invent it. No, if I talk about that, I'll go on a whole nother rant. But, they keep calling it some other shit, And I'm just like, it's Canadian Destroyer. But every company calls it something different now. But, man, when he did that thing, like Phoenix and Pentagon right now, or is like I said in the group chat, like these guys, they got so much talent in AEW, and I hope everybody's happy, and you know, maybe they're like, okay, they see where their storylines are going, or if they don't have stories, because like those people need titles soon, man. Phoenix and Pentagon, they need some gold around their waist, man. And this match just proved, you know, I got this wrong, and I should have, you know, that was Wrestling 101, and I'm a little pissed at myself because I picked the good guys to win, but I figured the heels will win, maybe cause a little friction between the Young Bucks and FTR. But even FTR, man, and the Young Bucks, they worked well together in the ring. And it's one of those things where I was like, if I was booking it, I would have brought them in straight away as heels, you know, hunting the Bucks instead of all this, you know, kind of like, oh, we'll handshake and shit. I don't really like that stuff because all the trash talk that went on, it kind of right now is kind of like, now we're just waiting. Like, oh, all right. You know, they could have built this differently, but this match was amazing, man. Everybody pulled their weight, but that Phoenix spot, man, you know, flipping the dude outside the ring, and they both landed clean. Thank God, you know, yeah, spot of the night, yeah, spot of the week, spot of the goddamn week. But yeah, man, they landed clean because, you know, I had to rewatch it a couple times to be like, but I was like, man, thank God nobody landed like crazy, you know, because I think it was one of the Young Bucks took the bump, you know, going out the ring. So, you know, they played it safe with Phoenix, and they put their trust, they timed it right, they did it, and that shit was just, that's spot of the week right there, man. But yeah, it was a good match, great match.
One thing about that spot you didn't touch on, he did it off the back of Pentagon.
Oh
yeah, he did it. He did it from inside the ring, off the back, you know, over the ropes onto the people outside. That shit was just crazy.
Like, you got to get that point too. That makes it even.
You got to give Nick Jackson that credit too, because his head, even though his body was outside, his upper body was still like inside within the ropes. One miscommunication, and those ropes are not flimsy. They're not soft or anything. Nick could have clipped his head on those ropes, but the fact that they went through that cleanly and swiftly was amazing. And yeah, Matty, I just went to double check their name. Yeah, Cash Wheeler was formerly Dash Wilder, and Dax Harwood was formerly Scott Dawson.
There you go.
Yeah, these names are, to me, those names are weird as fuck, man. Those names are just too weird, man, to like keep saying. Like, I get tongue tied trying to say them shits, man. Those names are just fucking weird.
Jericho, they admitted on their podcast with Jericho, they went by Dawson and Wilder for so many years. It was weird to finally start calling themselves a different name.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but them on Cornette was really insightful too. To our watchers, viewers, whatever you are, if you haven't seen it, please check out their interview with Jim Cornette. Whether you like him or not, it's a hell of a listen to. Like, they go really in depth into what happened, kind of like they did with Jericho and everybody on the Jericho podcast. But do we really need to discuss Nyla Rose here? I'll do it real quick. Basically,
I still want to add one more thing on that match. Okay. Just one thing. I agree with Haven. Butcher and the Blade, they definitely were highlights in this. Now, they didn't get much play as compared to Lucha Brothers, but when they were used sparingly, and they were used very well. They were pretty much brought in as the heavy hitters, especially they were also used very well to take most of the punishment. Like, especially when the Young Bucks and FTR did that collab top turnbuckle. I think it was it was a splash,
suplex,
double suplex, and then it was splash, and then the flipping senton. Yeah, that was good. And also the fact that with FTR and Bucks, they showed that these teams know each other so well. They showed shades of when the Revival fought DIY, that they used each other's finishing moves.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted to add on.
All right, so I'd give this straight up an A+. This is, I don't know how anything could. This could rank up there in the top 3 or 4 TV matches all year, in my opinion. And we have to keep in mind that the 30-minute Iron Man match between Omega and Pac was in 2020. Now, it may have felt like it wasn't, but it was. So that's saying something. I'll quickly run over Nyla Rose. She came out, she squashed 2 people, and then she basically announced she's having a manager. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, when they showed that, you know, she didn't really have an opponent, I figured it was gonna be a squash match, which is disappointing because, you know, honestly, last night wasn't the night to do a squash match for AEW. You know, especially when you have the competition. If you have the competition with the Great American Bash, you know, like last night was they should have brought some. Well, go ahead, Matt.
Jeez. Oh no, go ahead. I was just gonna say they should have waited 2 weeks, get through Fyter Fest, get through Fight of the Fallen, and move on.
Yeah, like for this night.
I mean,
oh, I didn't finish my thought, Ryan. Jesus Christ! You know what? You guys go first. You guys just go first.
I was agreeing. Don't worry, Haven. Villian, go right ahead, man. Go down your 2 cents.
No. All right. You know, even though she had 2 people, so it looked better. You know, she beats the shit out of 2 chicks. You know, or 2 women, I should say. Sorry, because chicks sound sexy. She beat the shit out of 2 women in a squash match, which I'm like, we already established Nyla Rose, man. She's been there for over a year. We don't need this little shitty squash match for her. You know, you do that when you bring in a new person. So I thought somebody might have stepped up to the plate. They could have had the Brazilian girl, I forget her name, but she's really good. They got wrestlers there that can wrestle. Give her a nice, 5-minute match, something where that we get some stuff in. But the promo, yeah, she's gonna get a manager. I'm intrigued. I know a lot of people are thinking it's gonna be a female manager. I'm thinking, maybe it might be a male manager. It depends who they could bring in or somebody already there. Maybe Taz. I'm intrigued where the manager stuff is going. Because I've seen stuff online. People are talking about all these different women, like Alundra Blaze and all. I'm like, seriously? Like those women couldn't even talk on the mic before. Like how are they gonna, come on, man, be realistic. So I'm just intrigued, And I like how they kept cutting out, and showing the views from our AEW Women's Champion, Sheeta, and you've seen Penelope Ford. So they kept showing them. Looking at Nyla Rose, like, what the hell, so it's a little development. So I thought it was good. We just got to see where it goes.
Definitely 2 different perspectives. You see with those, like you mentioned with them cutouts, when they cut the Penelope Ford, she's eyeing her like, she's looking impressed with Nyla. Like, not like Sheeta, where Sheeta was, doing that mean mug at her, like, like someone who's hungry for a title. Penelope Ford kind of looked like her eyes were kind of staring at her like very opportunistic. Like she was trying to strategize in her head how she could use or work a potential relationship with Nyla Rose, even if it's only going to be short-term going for the women's championship. And you know what? I am in the camp of some people who think that Nyla's going to get a female manager, but it could be most likely she's going to get a male manager because she did reference Arn Anderson, and she did. The reason why she's talking about managers because she used the best examples. Arn Anderson, because Cody is TNT champion. And then, of course, with Taz, giving Cage the FTW championship, making that belt even more important for the fact that Nyla said, Taz, already, Cage with Taz, and Taz gave him the belt. Meaning that Nyla Rose is not only going to put even more intrigue on the fact of her having a manager, but she's even stressing that in AEW, managers are important. They're not just side candy, or they're just not there just to have one, like how the other company would do it. In AEW, they are important. They're not only there to get you to the title, but they're also there to remind you of who you are. Best example in AEW Dark. After we all remember Double or Nothing, Shawn Spears gets humiliated after Dustin Rhodes. On AEW Dark and in Bits of Dynamite, Tully Blanchard has been not only shutting down Shawn Spears, but lighting a fire under him at the same time, asking him, who are you? Who are you? And I believe we did see Shawn Spears and Tully Blanchard in the crowd. They did cut to them during this week of Firefest. So we do know that they have not, they're making moves as well.
They were in the crowd, and they showed them just so happened during the 8-man tag, which rumor has it that FTR is going to join them. And I like the idea of kind of like a 4 horsemen, especially with Tony Blanchard and Arn Anderson in the company. And Ric Flair has given them the thumbs up. He thinks it's a hell of an idea. So, Mr. Barber, do you give a shit about Nyla Rose's speech?
Nope. Didn't even watch it.
Okay.
Didn't even watch it.
We'll move on.
I do think Nyla is a great talker, though. I think she's a great talker. I
like the Taz idea. I didn't give that much thought until he said it. And then I'm like, That's an interesting because he can get these monster powerhouses and just kind of bring the rage. I like that. Next up we had SCU taking on Dark Order and Colt Cabana. Before this, you see Colt Cabana in the locker room, trainer's office, and his ribs looked jacked.
He looked like a burn victim for a second for the way that those bruises were on his ribs. I mean, just the discoloration on his skin looked like he had just gotten some skin grafts. Man, that looked nasty.
I think it was special. I think it was makeup. I don't think it's real.
Was. I have no doubt it was.
But it looked good. Yeah.
We're talking in the land of kayfabe. Anything's possible, you know. But I like the fact that, you know, Mr. Brody Lee and the Dark Order walk in and they're like, "Don't worry about it. We got you. Come with us." You know, he's kind of like, "Come, child," and he did. And then they went out and had a hell of a match. Every time Colt Cabana would come in, he'd get an ass whooping. But then, you know, the Dark Order would step in and they would start bombing on him, and then I love the ending where, you know, Grayson and Brody Lee take him out, and he just orders Grayson to tag in Colt, and Colt gets the 1, 2, 3, and he's going to celebrate. And Dark Order's like, "You do that, we're good," and they just walk out. And I think we're going to see Colt turn. I think we are honestly going to see Colt Cabana turn.
I think this is just going to be. I think Colt will turn, but he's going to be more of like a reluctant turn. Because as you see with Dynamite, every time Brody Lee is extending his hand, the fact that Colt is getting wins, you do see, like, they're playing it like a situation like it is a goddamn Colt. Where every time Colt gets a win, he is slowly drinking more and more of that Kool-Aid. And the fact is, in that locker room, how you see with Brody, I love how they're showing him. This man is so confident in his character. He has that imposing figure. Even though some people can say he's nothing but just like he's a satire of Vince McMahon, but Brody Lee, he is not playing it like a joke. He's playing it as a straight up character. Like, this is the Brody Lee that we should have gotten in, let's say, his time as Luke Harper in WWE. Like, we wanted to see this version of him. This is what Brody Lee's showing you. And a couple weeks, and I think on one of our previous Suplex City chats, I talked about how I think that whenever, like, I remember JV3 was talking about how with hopefully when he shows up, he did talk about how guys like Brody Lee and Lance Archer kind of suffered after losing the big championships. And I said that they could recover. This is an example of how Brody Lee is recovering. They're getting back to Brody Lee and the Dark Order and him and Brody Lee using his influence and power to get more people to join. And they extended that into Dark and with skits on BTE, that the Dark Order is the shadow slowly moving across AEW, trying to grab as many people as possible to show a united front. And as we saw in that match, you had members of the Dark Order lined up on stage. And after the win happened, you do see a reluctant Colt actually lining up with them in celebration. In what's that word I'm trying to think of? Unification, but solidarity. Yes, in solidarity.
Yeah, solidarity. Yeah.
Yeah. This match was banging. SCU was on point like that. Where Brody and you said Brody Lee's a Vince-like character. Sure, but what he's also said on the Unrestricted podcast is that he's also kind of going with that kind of like gangster mob boss sort of vibe, and you can feel it just when he walks in. He's got the suit on, and he's very almost intimidating, but he doesn't have to be loud. Like he looks at you and talks to you, and he makes you feel this big. And I'd follow him if I was a wrestler. It'd be damn tempting to follow him because Dark Order's still number 3 on the ranking. They got to win this week. Brody Lee's still on a hell of a run. Yeah. Jacob, did you see this?
I did, yeah. And I kind of wish they would have done this with Brody Lee before pushing him to a title match. Because I'm loving this. His stuff with Moxley was okay, I thought, but this with Colt Cabana is fantastic. The match was good. and I like that they're giving Colt the pins. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm very interested, and I'm words are hard today.
Yeah,
I'm
it's one of those days.
That's
It's one of
okay.
those days.
I'm invested. I'm invested in the storyline, and I want to see where it goes.
I am too.
After-
I am extremely. Yeah.
One thing AEW is proving that they can do better in writing over WWE is that when a competitor loses an opportunity at the big championship, they can recover slowly over time, like we're seeing with Archer, like we're seeing with Brody Lee. And I didn't talk much on the match, but one thing about the match I did enjoy was I loved even though we don't see SCU that much on commentary, they did say that moving forward with SCU as a faction, Scorpio Sky is going to focus in singles, while Kazarian and Daniels are going to be a tag team moving forward. It is an interesting combination because in the beginning, it was Sky and Kazarian. So now that Daniels is going to start implementing himself more into wrestling, especially with reteaming with Frankie Kazarian, do you guys kind of see them as potentially going for the belt, or they're mainly just going to be kind of like in a Roddy Piper situation? They're going to get close to it, but they're never actually going to get it.
Anyway, I totally disagree with you, Jacob. All right, that's my turn. They announced that 3 weeks ago, Ryan. That's late news. They announced that 3 weeks ago that Scorpio Sky was going alone, singles, and that these guys were going to tag up. You've been seeing matches on Dark with Scorpio Sky getting wins in singles matches, and we've been seeing SCU, as a tag team, with Kaz and Daniels wrestling. But I totally disagree with your guys' points on this Brody Lee situation, because to me this is a real big step down. He went from fighting at the last pay-per-view for the heavyweight title to now he's recruiting a guy that's not even in the rankings right now. He's recruiting Colt that they just brought in like 2 months ago. To me, this storyline just sucks ass. I'm not intrigued by it. I don't care for it. I don't, because Colt Cabana eventually he's just going to leave the group or whatever, or turn on them. So I don't really see a payoff. Like, there's really no payoff in this storyline for me personally. Dark Order, yeah, they keep recruiting guys, and nobody knows what the hell they're doing now. It went from a Colt, to like mystical stuff to now like mobsters. They did a whole 180, and Brody Lee, now he's tag teaming. He's not even going for gold no more because he already got his ass whooped, for the heavyweight title. So to me, this is a big step back because Colt, like I said, Colt is cool, but he's kind of a veteran. Like, I don't expect him to win any titles in AEW. He's an older guy. He's been around the world. Like, he's just there to have his stuff go on. So that's why I'm like, okay, yeah. But it was a good match. SCU always brings it. They're veterans to the game. They could always pull off a good match, and they did. But to me, this storyline is not intriguing. Because what is the payoff? What would you be excited about? What, that Colt turns on them? Like, oh shit, hoo-hoo. Like, seriously.
Colton, to answer your question, we all thought it was an awesome throwback to ECW. It shows that AEW has faith in Taz. We are all for that. And by the way, to push off of what we were talking about, guys, Scorpio Sky has a total of 20 wins over AEW, period.
Yeah, both Light and Dark.
Yeah, so Scorpio Sky is on a hell of a run. And see, guys, this is what I like about wrestling. We all don't have to agree, but you know what? That's all in fun, That's what, in my opinion, makes wrestling fun, is the fact that we're all fans and we all don't agree. Obviously, 3 of us really like this storyline. 1 of us doesn't. But it's not well, fuck you, dude. That's crap. It's, this is my point. This is the way I look at it. That's what wrestling fandom should be. Now, the match. The main event. Orange Cassidy
Wait. Before we get, do we want to talk about this little these little bite-sized segments between Big Swole and Britt that were going on, or you just want to move past it?
Basically, they kicked her the fuck out, and whatever. I think it was filler. It really didn't do a whole lot for me.
It was filler.
Really a whole lot for me. I would rather see these two face to face instead of, oh, here's papers, you got to go away.
Well, I think, I agree it's filler, but at the same time, it's kind of a good way to get Swole away from Britt, because from most Dynamite, we constantly see Britt in her Rolls Royce, and then Swole starts to mess with her. And they couldn't keep rinsing and repeating that every Dynamite. So
hell, they can't. They can do all kinds of shit more. I
know. I'm just saying, it's a great character sheet. Like, look, we're not gonna spend a lot. We're gonna talk about learning cast. But what I will say is, when Britt gets slightly grazed across the face from Rebel, she sells it as if she just dislocated her goddamn nose. I laughed my ass off on that.
That's the fucking point. Like, she's a prima ballerina pussy right now. She's hurt, and she expects everybody to think of her as a role model. And she is actually doing this role better than Bailey, in my opinion. I don't care if you don't like it, whether you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, or sitting in this. You can at me all you want. We can discuss this all we want. I want to see the two of them face to face, and I fucking enjoy it. This to me was just we didn't know what to do this week, so Big Swole, here, you do this, and then you show up, and then Rebel will hit her, and she'll scream. No, I want to see these two go face to face because they are both good on the mic. Big Swole on Dark is showing that she can go. She can work. And her and Britt are going to have a knockdown drag out when she gets. It keeps her.
The dirty dancing move looked like it really shouldn't work, but on most occasions when Swole can pull that off, dirty dancing looks like she can knock someone's teeth out.
It's a great riptide. It's basically just a ripcord. I mean, it's a ripcord.
It looks like it shouldn't be a finisher, but when Swole.
No. I got you.
Maybe we should start talking about Cassidy and Jericho.
No, I want to talk about this segment. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm never gonna say it's either segment was good or bad, you know, or indifferent. And this segment was fine. You know, it wasn't too long where it got corny. You know, it was short and sweet, and it advances the storyline. You know, so people watching at home could be like, okay, these women are beefing, and that's what they did. I wasn't mad at this, you know. Even if this, you know, was hyped up as like a pay-per-view, at the end of the day, it's not, you know. None of these, you know, those only a few of these matches that I would have liked to see on a pay-per-view. So, you know, they could say, yeah, you know, we put Fyter Fest, but if this was a pay-per-view, then yeah, that little segment probably wouldn't have been in there. But it's on TV, and it was fine, you know. Swole's been doing her thing, like you guys said, on Dark. You know, she just squashed some chick this week, and that was a good, you know, good for Swole, you know. And then she just pinned the girl off some simple shit, you know, just laid on her. But yeah, so the segment was straight, you know. See where it goes next week.
Jacob, did you see this one?
I didn't, but how long until we see the? Because you know you got the Rolls Royce, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How long until we see the Swole's Royce?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna get play on Swole. That's for sure.
I like Swole. I like her as a character. She's one of these, you know, you got Shida. She's, you know, the Japanese kind of style wrestler. You've got Nyla Rose, this big monster, hulking beast. You've got Britt, you know, the bad mouth heel. And you've got Swole, where she can be both. She's a tweener, but she's got the power, and she's kind of, you know, Mighty Mouse, you could say, you know, mighty, small but mighty. And I'm sold. And I love the whole yellow Power Ranger kind of costume she wears.
Yeah. Now, let's not forget about Penelope Ford, how she comes off as just the cool girl.
Holy shit.
sexy,
We've
cool
already
girl.
talked about Penelope Ford in ages. She is a monster in the ring. She is finally getting the push she needs. Supposedly she's out with an injury. Like I heard
All
that.
right. Let's get to the main
Look at
event,
this,
man. You guys just went. We went from one segment talking about two characters that were in the segment, and now you guys want to talk about some chick that wasn't even in the segment.
Well, just a real side note on
I mean, you
Penelope Ford. She is supposedly hurt. Kip Sabian told her that when she wanted to go to blows with somebody last night. That's all I'm going to bring up with that. Now, Orange Cassidy, Jericho. Villain, you're Mr. Play-by-Play. Hit us, brother. After you've taken your drink, homie.
Ooh, all right. Damn it, I can't
We'll let that
play by play. But yo, all right. So this match was what we all thought it was going to be. This match was going to be surprisingly good. We all knew it was going to be good, because Jericho is Chris Jericho, and we all are, hyped up about Orange Cassidy. Most people, there's a lot of people that, like me, I'm digging him. When he first signed with AEW, I went back and watched a lot of his independent matches, and to see that he had all these intergender matches, were really cool, and he was defending a title. So a lot of the wrestlers in AEW, he's wrestled before, women and men, and he's got the unique style, and the match was good, man. Like Jericho was doing his thing, Orange Cassidy, he brought out a couple different moves this week, so that's why I was like, oh shit. The one move I do want to speak on is when, after a while, because he went hard from the get-go, he wasn't slouching at all. He was doing his rows, he was doing his dodges on counter moves, and then he was getting his offense in. And Chris Jericho, was looking kind of vulnerable. And then we have the one spot where he puts his hands in his pocket, he does the little kicks, and then he switches it up, and he gives you a super kick, out of nowhere. That shit was like, yo, like that came out of nowhere. And then he's get the 1-2, lift the shoulder up. So I was like, yo, that was really, because we haven't seen that before on Dynamite. So I thought that was really cool. And he was able to just give us a little new variation. And the fans, that was a pop for me. And I think most people at home were popping for that. Like, holy shit, So I just like that. He could do little stuff here and there and always still bring out something new. And, and then Chris Jericho just hit him with that Judas effect, like so savage. Once Jericho hit him with that, it was night, and my work here is done. And because Jericho is Le Champion, and I thought this match was hella good, and it was deserving of the main event. That's for sure. And it made Orange Cassidy, to me, I think his stock rised tremendously after this match.
No shit. You also forgot the fact that he also took orange juice to the face and a shot to the face with Floyd the Bat.
That's true. The orange juice spot was kind of sloppy because then it was all like on the ropes, and near the end of the ring, on the side. I was like, but yeah, that was all right.
But yeah, no, that definitely made Orange Cassidy look strong. And I do want to point out that they even commented on how protected that Judas elbow is. I mean, it's just a roundhouse elbow, but god damn, you get hit with that, you're done. That's good night. I mean, I picked Orange Cassidy to win. I thought they were going to put him over, but after seeing the match, Cody said a few months back that they're going to slowly build to Orange Cassidy just unleashing, and I don't even think we're there yet. Like, this may have just been a sprinkle of what's to come.
Oh, I agree 100%. As we just saw in this match, Orange Cassidy, how he is slowly, just like very slowly, like he is. It's kind of like when you get a present for Christmas, and most people you want to take out the wrapping, and then you get that one person who wants to preserve the wrapping, so they slowly take apart everything just to make sure it's all in pristine condition. Like with a bow, they'll just pull on that one thread to make sure nothing's torn. That's what Orange Cassidy is right now. When you see him in that ring, he'll give you the simple stuff with the hands in his pockets. He'll do those dodges, those lazy kicks. But then every now and then, the moment he jumps up to 3-4%, you see more intensity from Orange Cassidy. You start seeing him do takedowns. You'll see him do some quick roll. You'll see him trying to do some quick inside cradles or some roll-ups or some planchas, or like what Haven had just talked about, him doing those lazy kicks and then swerving you with that super kick. Orange Cassidy is 100% an example on how storytelling and psychology works in wrestling. It's not always going to be an athletic competition. You got to bring in the audience. You have to reel them in to buy you, not just inside the ring, but outside. You got to make them wonder exactly what you're going to do when you start taking things seriously. And right now, Orange Cassidy gave us the right amount of intensity against Jericho. So then, like when Cody says, they start unveiling more Cassidy, you're immediately going to want to see this man with either the AEW championship or the freaking FTW championship. Screw the TNT title. I want to see those two belts on Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I don't care what he's going to do. I think they're going to shoot him to the moon. All right, Jacob, if you didn't see this, you are not allowed on this show anymore.
No, I saw it. And I become an even bigger fan of Orange Cassidy every week, because especially with what he's doing with Jericho, like he's adding something to his character every week. It seems like, and it seems like Jericho, these last few years especially, has been able to really get the best out of whoever he's feuding with, and that's one of the big reasons why he's been a favorite of mine for, like, I've been watching for over 20 years, and he's been a favorite of mine for most of those. And the reason is because he does get so much out of who he's feuding with. And I didn't think Orange Cassidy was going to win, but there were moments where I was like, oh, they're going to do it. They're going to put Orange Cassidy over, and I wouldn't have been mad at all. But yeah, that Judas effect, like I didn't like it at first, but the fact that he can hit that out of nowhere, and you never know when it's coming, is I think it's a great addition to Jericho's in-ring work. And like, man, I can't say enough good things about Jericho and Cassidy, and they showed out last night, I think.
Yeah, this could be match of the night, but I don't know. All right, guys, real quick, what would you grade this part 2? We're not going to include part 1 yet because I got another one in a minute. How would you rate this show? A to F. I don't care. Somebody go first.
I'll give it a solid A. I thought it was. We didn't really hit, which was crazy because we only had one title match on the card, so I kind of take that into consideration. But we had a lot of good wrestling. Like some stuff I didn't care for, didn't like, but when you have when you have that 8-man tag, blow shit out the water, and then you have a great main event like this, and nothing besides the SCU match, to me was kind of like, I'm gonna give that match alone like maybe a C, and the Nia squash match, maybe like a C minus. But to all in all, everything else was really good, fun 2 hours of TV. So I got to give this an A.
All righty. I agree. I wholeheartedly give this an A. This was everything I could have wanted it more. If this was on a pay-per-view, I would have been pleasantly surprised to have paid it. Because, yeah, this was bombing.
I would give this, at first it was going to be like an A minus, but then having going back through that card, I can't overlook the Nia squash match because it was building more towards her story. So I guess, I would definitely give this an A as well, because despite the matches, all of these matches were playing towards a bigger story coming down the road. Nothing was squashed. No stories were ending after the bell was over.
Right. Barber, our half of Dudley. What did you give it, homie?
I have to give it an incomplete until I watch the tag team title match. As of now, I'll give it an A. and it'll probably stay that way. But
All right.
not having seen the whole show, I can't give it a fair grade. I think
That's fair. All right, guys. What about Fighter Fest overall? We're talking night 1 and night 2. I'm going to give it a solid B. I mean, this was, if you called night 1 the pre-show and this the last night the main show, it would have been a solid A. But they called it a 2-night event, so I'm gonna go with a solid B plus.
Combining both night 1 and night 2, I would give between an A- and a B plus as well. Heyman and Paige had to defend their titles twice on both shows, on both weeks, but both of them were completely different. They weren't the same match. And then if you just have to look at them, sure, the first week heavy on the titles, second week more on the wrestling matches. I think all in all, despite that analogy, that reference someone made, that the first week 1 was the pre-show. No, this was all in all a great card through.
All right, Villian, what you got, homie?
Yeah, I have to. It's weird because it's when it's 2 different nights and it's supposed to be one, and some people are saying, oh, pre-show, which I don't think, I wouldn't disrespect it like that. I know you guys, that's not your words, that's people on the internet, we heard that from. But if I give the second show an A and the first show was straight, so it's got to be a solid A for me, because unless the first show was so shitty that I gave it an F, then both shows combined, especially with night 2 was so great that I have to give it a solid A, Nothing was so bad that I have to really bring it down. I know if this was actually on pay-per-view, might be a different story. I have to judge it a little differently because you're paying money for pay-per-view. But for these 2 nights, all in all, an A.
Right on. And then Jacob hasn't seen it all, so you can't even ask him.
But for free TV, you can't complain at all about the product you were given.
Not at all.
Yeah.
All right, so let's quickly jump over to NXT, the Great American Bash Night 2. I'm just going to kind of write them off as I saw them. Isaiah Swerve Scott and Johnny Gargano. I liked this match. It was, it was a good match.
Yeah, it was. If I'll jump in, if nobody else can say it. Yeah, it was a good match. Johnny Gargano, when do you ever say, oh, that guy had a bad match? He's a great wrestler. And Swerve Scott, he's a relatively new guy to NXT. We've seen a couple of his matches, so we know he's a great performer. And for a Great American Bash, yeah, it was a good match, man. I can't really disrespect the match because both guys, they know what they're doing in the ring, and that's one of my differences when it goes to AEW to NXT, because we know so much about these guys' potential, and then some of these matches, they're kind of meaningless, this match was great, but it's kind of I was like, all right, it was a good match, but what do you expect? We have great talent in the ring, at least AEW, a lot of these guys are so fresh to us that we're still learning about them, so we're seeing a chance to grow. And maybe that's the same thing with Swerve Scott. Maybe a lot of people don't know him or have seen him before, but I've seen him a lot, because he was on Lucha Underground for a couple of years or seasons. So I'm like, all right, I know what this guy could do, and we got to see where it goes. But yeah, it was a good opener. You can't go wrong with Johnny Gargano opening a not a pay-per-view, but a themed show. So yeah, it was great.
Oh, no, this is pretty much my points are similar to all of you. This was a great. Johnny Gargano doesn't cease to fail. He does not cease to amaze me. Isaiah Swerve Scott, this was kind of like the one time I finally get to see him being put on an important match, because he was given opportunities in NXT, obviously, but he was never given the real platform to shine, because after he impresses people on NXT, he's pushed to 205 Live, to where he's one of the few contenders for that Cruiserweight Championship before it's officially the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. So this was definitely a wrestler like Scott that you knew what he was capable of, you just didn't know who to put him up against or where to place him. And Gargano seemed like the perfect guy to do it. And you know what? Even then, I thought Scott would win out of an upset or just because Johnny Gargano would go crazy. Instead, Gargano wins, and I have no complaints against that.
All right, Jacob, you've seen this. Lay it on us. Actually, talk to us tonight.
I actually, I didn't. Wednesday was a busy day. I had to watch highlights of everything, but
Man, take your shirt off. Because you're shamed now. Take your shirt off. You're going to walk through the streets like Game of Thrones. Shame.
dude, if I take my shirt off, no one is watching.
Well, we might get some new viewers. We just gotta shout it out. You know, we're gonna get maybe some people from some dark places in the world are gonna jump on.
They might think that this is went to OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. The dark web.
Life has been getting in the way this week, but I watch what I can. And
He said.
Hey, quick. I just want to make another point right now before we move on. You know, the thing about 2020 wrestlers, right, is like most of these guys, like we had Scott, right? He was in the 205 Live competition, and it sucks when everybody can do the same thing. You know, when everybody could go, it's like, yeah, they could do a 450 off the top rope. They could jump off the rope and do a swanton outside or do this. You know, they could do a super kick. You know, they could do a kick up. Like when everybody has that shit, it's kind of like, yeah, everybody is great. But then it's like, that becomes normal where there's not great, you know? So that's why it's like, when you see a match like this, I'm always kind of like, okay, you know, seeing it and it's like, whatever.
Okay. No, you make a lot of sense. Honestly, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
All right, guys. Then we got Breezango and Drake Maverick versus Legado del Fantasma. Yes, I'm from Arizona, so I can't actually say that. This was actually pretty good too. I mean, I didn't expect Drake Maverick to take the pin from him quite so early. Like I wanted them to feud a little bit, but it was a good match.
It was like all 6 guys could go, but then it's like the thing, like I just said with the last match, it's like they can all go and they're putting on a good match, but nobody really has that X factor to like put them ahead of the pack, you know, where you're like, man, oh shit, this guy's a star. Like all these guys are like, yeah, okay, yeah, they did their thing, but then it's kind of like, I don't know, I felt numb, like, all right, yeah, it was good, you know, but yeah, I couldn't say anything else more about it. I just thought it was a good match because, you know, they all worked well, and you know, that's what it was. It was a good match.
Right.
All right. When I went into this match, I wasn't expecting anything out of it, honestly, because to be honest, the whole thing I hate with NXT is when they bring in luchador wrestlers who are in masks, they always, I don't know what it is, the company policy or because Vince specifically doesn't like a variety of masked wrestlers outside of Rey Mysterio and Lucha House Party, but I hated the fact that they immediately unmasked him after he won the championship. I thought we could have done with the heel luchador with a mask as champion because with Andrade, when he was a luchador in the independent scenes. Then they bring him in, they unmask him. It took him a year or a couple of years to finally get up to the top of the card when he won that championship. Sure, they pulled it quicker with Santos, with Escobar. But the idea that they did this whole thing of Joaquin Wilde and the other guy being kidnapped by Luchador. Yeah, the fact that they had the whole Luchador kidnappings, and then guess what? Luchador's the whole thing. Now they want to unmask him. Why? Just so you can brand him? I mean, obviously.
Well, see, I think it gives another layer to his character, though, because it shows kind of like a Mr. Brody Lee sort of character. You know, I am the villain behind it. That Ewan Gambit, how are you, homie?
What's up?
I understand what you're going with this, but when I occasionally get to watch other wrestling outside of AEW, when I get to watch some of the independents, and when I see masked wrestlers, especially from some old wrestling from Mexican wrestling, like either AAA or just some old stuff I come across, some luchador wrestling, heel luchadors can be a scary, scary goddamn thing. Not just the fact that they can be high flyers, but because of the fact they have this mask on, they can physically use psychology and emote how dangerous they can be in a ring. So I thought before he was Santos Escobar, El Fantasma, I thought that would have been very intriguing of a luchador wrestler. I mean, the match is fantastic. It's over. The match was great. It exceeded my expectations because I had none going in. Drake Maverick definitely gave us the idea. He showed us a man possessed, constantly wanting to go after Escobar and being denied. Breezango, obviously, Fandango, he loves being there in NXT. You clearly see he's character and wrestler at the same time, and he's loving every bit of it.
Yeah. Well said.
All right, before we head on, I got to say one thing about the word luchador doesn't mean cruiserweight, you know? So everybody watching at home, luchador is just a masked wrestler in Mexico, you know? So it's not like a luchador means that they got to be a little guy, you know, because they have plenty of big guys, you know, that hold the heavyweight titles and things like that. Luchador just means that it's a masked wrestler. You know, it's just over here, we think of them as like cruiserweight or 205 guys, you know, so that's just, you know, yeah, that's just not, you know, accurate. So everybody watching at home, they know luchador just means that it's a masked wrestler, it's a heritage in Mexico.
And it's an honor. And it's an honor to be given a mask.
And to build on that too, when you are given that mask is you. It's not just something you put over your face. That mask is your face. I can't remember. Yeah, I'll go for it.
Juice and Thunder Liger is a perfect example. You have never seen that man unmasked. Rey Mysterio, there's only been one picture ever of him without a mask on, and that was taken.
Right, WCW did do an angle where they did unmask him.
Yeah, he was a mask for a while in WCW.
That's right. You're right. I apologize for that.
Right. But Ray did get that mask back on. I mean, even WWE saw how important it was with Ray having that mask on. And even other wrestlers. He had the mask. He lost his mask, and he wrestled without a mask for a long time until he went to WWE and they put the mask back on him. Yeah.
So getting a mask is your identity. Having a mask is your identity. So even Thunder Liger had never taken his mask off. He even when he went to New Japan, they honored that, and most places honor masked wrestling. I just think it was something that maybe he thought would benefit his character because of. I like the idea that he went maskless because now you've got the face behind the evil.
Yeah, I agree. It had to be like a conversation because when he had the mask, he was different. And then when he took the mask off, then he's got a regime around him and he's a leader, you know, so you could tell that he must have some influence, you know, talking to creative, and they came up with this thing. That's why losing the mask for him, like to me, I hate it when they take the mask off a guy that quickly in WWE. But this time, there's an exception because it looks like they had a reason and a story to move forward. So, you know, I can't be mad at that. The guy was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. It just seems to me that we could have still gotten that with him in that mask.
Yeah.
But, you know, to each his own.
Yep. All right.
Jacob hasn't said shit yet. Barber.
You can ask him.
Yeah, Barber, what's Barber doing right now? He's just the silent seducer. I think we just brought him on so he could seduce all the fans with his hypnotic looks, man, because he's silent right now, man. I don't know if he's throwing them some pheromones out. What's going on, brother?
I just wait till the right time and then I say my piece and it was a good 6-man tag. I'm glad it's not like an NXT takeover. It was a NXT TV that was called the Great American Bash because it was a decent TV match, I think. And I'm probably a bigger, Breezango fan than most. I absolutely think that those two are fantastic together, and so seeing them featured on NXT has been pretty nice for me personally. And so yeah, no. On the other side with Santos Escobar, I like the character, and I'm very intrigued to see where it goes. I think unmasking him was the right decision personally.
He kind of reminds me of like Tony Montana towards the end of Scarface, where he's like the top villain of it, you know, kind of like Brody Lee. You know, he's the top of the pyramid. I like that. So let's hit a couple of little unknown matches. We had Tony Nese and Bronson Reed. Okay, you know, that was one that they didn't really, you know, put together. I mean, it was definitely interesting. That's all I really got for that.
Yeah.
It was commentary was really trying to put Bronson Reed up as this guy who's gonna help the defenseless or help the helpless, as they were really setting up the whole thing like, oh, Tony Nese was bullying some new guy in the back or some wrestler who's coming up, so Bronson comes to step in. And then they also reference how he challenged Karrion Kross because he was standing up for somebody. Like it looks like they're trying to give Bronson this character, like he's a protector, he's a defender, he's willing to fight for the people who can't fight back in the situation.
And then you get your ass whooped by Karrion Kross. Let's go.
But at least, you know, he gave some punches. But yeah, Karrion Kross murdered him.
Let's be real. Karrion Kross just whooped his ass. And I mean, it was a good match. You know, they definitely, commentary definitely put their 2 cents on this. It wasn't a show stealer, but it was a good filler match, you know, kind of let's stretch stuff out.
Nah, I gotta disagree. I thought this was like this should not even been here. And that's the problem with NXT. Just way too many people that, you know, like we just seen this guy get his ass whooped by Kross. But besides that, we've seen him getting a little push, like steamrolling people. And he steamrolled Tony Nese. And you know what, man? If I was Tony Nese, I'll just stop going to the gym, dude. Like, you've been wrestling way too long. Like, you got a banging physique, and you ain't shit, bro. Like, just stop, dude. Like, why? Like, why do you do this, bro? You know, because when you were in TNA, he wasn't doing shit. You know, he was an X Division guy, and he never won the title. You know, and then now he's in. You know, he had a couple matches on Raw, maybe in SmackDown when they had the Intercontinental, fucking crazy, the 205 title. You know, they had their own 205 show. You were doing some stuff, but to be that swole and to be a jobber, man, it's like, why? What you doing, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, that dude's never gonna do shit. He's never gonna do shit, man. His role is just to take pins, man, and it sucks. Like, I would, you know.
It's incredibly weird how he is that swole. He has the body he has the physical physique that Vince McMahon covets in a wrestler, and he's designated to cruiserweight status. It's really mind-boggling when you look at that.
He's not tall enough. Let's be for real. He's not tall enough.
Brian's not tall enough or doesn't have damn physique, but he's still there.
Daniel Bryan's got fans.
But he can't wrestle like Daniel Bryan, though. Let's be real.
I know. I'm not saying Daniel Bryan and Tony Nese are on the same level. I'm just saying that if every now and then when Vince always like to push a wrestler because they look great, then I'm sorry, Daniel Bryan breaks that stereotype every single fucking time.
Yep. All right. Let's. Jacob, do you got anything to add?
No, that happened.
Okay.
Move on.
All right, let's move on to another one that we found out. We had Santina Garrett and Mercedes Martinez. This was a little more than a squash match, but it did establish Martinez as a hell of a competitor in the women's division. That's about it.
Yep, it was another squash match. 2 squash matches in a row, and it's like that's another one where I'm like, I could live without it. Both of these, to me, were like. I know you have to, you know, you sign in new people and you have to bring them in and show them. But both of these matches, I could have cared less about.
This is where like a dark would come in handy for NXT.
No, please, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
Well, I mean, to bring people in to get them to squash, you know, so they don't like fill the card with, you know. All right, Jacob.
Yeah, no, it did. Like, I agree with everything Haven just said. When you're building this up as some big event, and you have 2 squash matches in a row, knowing that the main event was still coming, I didn't lose. You don't lose complete interest in it, but it is enough to make you go, eh.
It was a good time to go get a new drink and go pee, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, though, I do think the women's division in NXT is one of the best divisions in all of wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Haven's actually said that.
Yeah, they got like 10 chicks, man. With 10, they got 15 women that wrestle in there, and all of them could go. None of them are green, except maybe one that I'm not gonna say it, but there's one that is kind of lower tier than everybody else, and everybody else is on a high tier. All these women could go out there and bust their ass and do their thing.
Yep. All right. Speaking of women, let's back up.
Ryan didn't go.
Yeah.
No, that was it. Yeah, I had no thoughts on this match. Yeah, Garrett was there to do a job, and Martinez was there to dominate. That was it.
Yep. All right. This was a fantastic street fight. It was Candice LeRae and Mia Yim. They took what they had and ran with it. I love the little throwback to William Regal where the brass knucks come out in the end. The table spot on the ring was kind of neat looking. Just everything you'd want in a street fight.
That table spot looked scary when they bounced that on that turnbuckle. Like any misstep, miscommunication, they could have fallen hard. Like they could have taken a nasty fall. But also LeRae and Yim, man, so much was said without having a word, like no trash talk between the characters. They just went in and just wanted to beat the living hell out of each other.
And they did.
Yes. They didn't, and if you invest, street fight, street clothes. They didn't need any fancy freaking attire. They just went in because they knew either one of them was going to walk out with a bloody fucking nose or they're going to be busted open or no one's going to get that W. And I think this is one of the rare times I'm seeing Candice fully be able to use a heel persona and how it's affected her moveset wise. Because when you normally see her in matches as her heel persona, it's mostly character, and then now and then she'll do some moves. But here, it was moves. And yeah, I think the right person did win here, LeRae.
I think she's been killing it lately. And if I could choose a next champion, it'd be her. Just as a personal choice, because I think her heel work has been some of the best. Just as a personal opinion, and man, what they killed it. It was a great match. I don't want to take up too much time because we've already been going for a while, but man, the women of NXT, I can't praise them enough.
All right, Villian.
Yeah, I agree, man. The Barber said everything I wanted to say, man. Like, this match was great. Especially the street fight, bringing weapons in. Like, these two women killed it, man. They had a good match, like, hands down for a women's match. Not even a women's match, just for a match in general. I'm not going to genderify them. But, man, I give this one right here, they told a hell of a story, man. And I like how when Ryan hit on it, like, when they turn heel, you got to do some heel moves. And we're starting to see that now. They're progressing. Her and her husband, right now, they're both heelish. They're both healing it up. They both got wins, that week. They probably went and celebrated, probably, skipped out on the check after they had a big expensive meal. They probably put some old lady down, and got in the Uber, and then Johnny probably beat the Uber guy up, didn't pay for it. Like, man, this match was fucking good, man. And like, we all know, like, I'm not mad at well, sometimes I am, but I can't be mad at a company that has that much money where you could go around getting the best of the best. And we've seen two women that, either one of them could get the NXT Women's title next, and I'm not going to be sour at that. But since Candice won, she might get the chance and finally get a title, and I'm not going to be sour at that at all because both of these women deserve it. They did their business last night, and that shit was beautiful.
I don't know what else to say, but yeah, they put on a hell of a match. They used the weapons really well. Candice taking that table spot was kind of scary, like that. Yeah. It looked like she hit her head on the concrete. But it was great.
Both those spots were scary, especially. When she bumped her head. We all know from seeing Candice in the Independence, she can take a hit, but at the same time, this was her during her youth days. The older you get in wrestling, you're sure your body's able to adjust and it's able to adapt, but then also at the same time, it can't take on the same amount of punishment as it did as wrestling in your 20s, and you're able to take like 12 feet dive spots off of cages, or you're able to take a solid chair shot to the head because your body could recover the next, within the next day. This situation, no, you need to be more. You really need to start doing more storytelling, and I do agree, man. That her head almost hitting that concrete, man, that could have almost felt the end in that match. But no, she was a true pro.
I'm never gonna, I gotta disagree with Ryan. When you're a wrestler and the risk, and they're not, I doubt anybody on either of these shows are gonna take unnecessary risks. Yeah, sometimes injuries happen because they're playing heavyweights game. This is not for kids. This is athletic, like NFL. If you're not a good NFL player, you ain't gonna get to the damn NFL. Yeah, you'll be in the backyard throwing the ball. This is like, and these are gladiators. We got the best of the best, and mistakes happen, and it sucks when they do. But thank God we have never seen nothing where it's really too fucked up. Recently, yeah, somebody might tear a ligament or something, but that's just a muscle going out. So you're gonna be out for a time to recover. But they probably went into it, thinking like, okay, this is, we could do this. And I think both of them, probably, smacked the hands up, and looked at each other in the eye and said, man, we're going to go out there and we're going to kill this shit. We're going to show people why we are about it here in NXT. And they did that, The spots, there's always a chance. There's always a chance Spot could get fucked up. But if you don't take a risk, then there's nothing memorable, and I'm not saying you have to do something crazy to have a good match, but I think when they go in there, stuff is taken care of a lot more than we believe.
Sure.
Some people think. So yeah. So
all right, now the match that I was excited for this week, the North American champion Keith Lee and the NXT champion Adam Cole. Winner takes all.
Woo!
This was, as good old JR would say, a slobber knocker. They went toe-to-toe, round for round, and they basically brought back the Keith Lee that we saw damn near took out Roman Survivor Series, that rampaged, went toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. They brought that Keith Lee back. And we all, gentlemen, have to bask in his glory. Keith Lee is our first-time double-belted champion. And that spot, when he ran through, yes, I know it was made to look like it, but when he hit that plexiglass,
oh my God.
I thought he was done there. I was like, damn. But he yeah. Lay it out, guys.
The right person won. I think the right person definitely won. And Adam Cole, he was champion for 403 days, and none of it felt stale. I think it's one of the best championship reigns in all of WWE in the last decade, maybe. And it's being moved on to the right guy, and I couldn't have been happier with the result, even though it was spoiled for me a week ago, unfortunately. But it was still just to see it happen. It was a great moment, and I think Keith Lee is the right guy to to put the belt on and move forward in NXT.
I don't think he's moving on in NXT. I think he's done in
No,
NXT.
like who?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like it's. I think Adam Cole. I think he'll be around a month, maybe another month. I think he'll get a rematch. Maybe, and Keith Lee retains, obviously, and then we'll see what happens with Adam Cole. Personally, I want to see him go to SmackDown with the Undisputed Era, but I'm really excited to see Keith Lee hold the title and see what they do with him as a double champ.
Two big beefy men. Let's believe it. Come on now. We're going to see him and Karrion Kross at TakeOver. Let's be real.
To me, I think Cole deserves a break after this. I mean, not like be written off TV or anything, but as for over 400 days, Adam Cole has been bleeding, sweating, and repping the black and yellow brand since he won that belt off at NXT TakeOver 25. And he has had incredible standout matches. He has given his body in War Games. And then in the following War Games, he does that at a freaking Survivor Series in a triple threat match with taped up ribs. And then, of course, the street fight, being thrown like a rag doll by Keith Lee. I mean, Adam Cole, without a doubt, has built that title to be something special. And to me, this was I could think of no better platform for Adam Cole to lose that championship than be a winner take all. Adam Cole either becomes the first double belted champ or he doesn't. Those stakes, with those high stakes involved, either man gonna come out on top. To me, I love the fact that Keith Lee won, and throughout this match, I love the fact that Cole did not need the help of the Undisputed Era. Just like when he won that title from Gargano, he did not need them to win, and it shows exactly what kind of a wrestler Cole is when he is defending that strap. And Lee, goddamn, I don't care how many shoulder pushes he throws up against Colt. I don't give a damn how many times he pops up out from the corner like a monster horror, like a horror movie villain. But Keith Lee putting this on him. Sure, Matt, you are right. We're going to definitely see Karrion Kross and Lee at TakeOver. But the truth is, I want double belted Lee until the end of September.
I think
that's just me.
I can see that, but I'm looking forward to that match because they're big beefy men and they both are powerhouses. But Villain, what did you think of this?
Yeah, we all seen, we're all internet savvy. Well, not, yeah, when it comes to like clicking on the phone, there's so much stuff out there nowadays that we all probably got spoiled, but I still went in the match intrigued to see the match play out because I didn't get spoiled on an entrance. Maybe they had a new entrance or new gear, so I didn't get spoiled on that. I didn't get spoiled on the match itself because we didn't see the match, we just knew a little bit about the end, So the match was amazing, man. Like this match, they gave them the time that they deserve to have, for a title match. And both guys did their thing. Oh shit, 15s? All right, that's cool. So I'm like, yeah, man, this match was the time, in my personal opinion, Keith Lee's doing his thing. There was a great build, great setup, and both of these guys just went at it. And, for Adam Cole's credit, he's able to have a believable match with a guy that's like, honestly, he's like 3 times his size. No, 4 times his size. Because Adam Cole's like a beanpole, So I thought, and it was telling. There was a lot of stuff in this match that was kind of telling to where, stuff is going to go in the future, So the ending was great. It was, I wish it was a live crowd. That's the only thing that sucks when it comes to title change. Because at the end of this match, they went to the crowd, and then like, all right, I'm gonna be real shit. They went to the crowd, and it was like, it just happens like everybody in the crowd was black, So I'm like, all right, I'm like, that's so manufactured that, if it was organic, I would have been like, fuck yeah. But I'm like, yeah, this is a company, that's, white, owned. So I was like, that didn't do nothing for me, that just felt like, I don't know. That's the only thing I was kind of like, all right, whatever. This is television. Well, yeah, the finisher was great.
That cutaway did take away something from the moment. It did.
Yeah, but the finisher was great. The match was great. So even that thing is not going to take away from this match. Both guys did their job. They went in, laced the boots, and they both showed why they are great wrestlers, And I think if I could do a little fantasy book like you guys do, I honestly think that the whole Undisputed Era, since they didn't come out and help them at all, none of them were out there. None of them came, for not even a couple minutes or nothing, did nothing. It was a clean match. That was surprising. We're like, okay. But I think they might go up on the roster, which that's going to suck, and I don't want to get into a rant about that, but it's like, I think those guys might leave. We might not see them for a minute. Yeah, maybe Adam Cole might get a rematch, so he could lose one more time to put over Lee. But I think, honestly, maybe Lee would is probably just going to drop the NXT, drop the North American title. Now they won the heavyweight one, like kind of Ultimate Warrior style, and people after that. Once you win the big one, you don't really need a second one. So maybe he'll just vacate it, and maybe they'll do a tournament or something, because it's you don't really need every person to have two belts, and that's just kind of going to get corny when you have so many wrestlers on NXT. Unless you're going to make him the Hulk Hogan of NXT for the next year, like, he don't really need the two belts, man. He could just forfeit the other title, and focus on just having great matches for the NXT championship.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a stipulation to where Lee might have to drop that belt. Like, look, I definitely feel you. Having too many double belted champions will run that belt down. I mean, it was fantastic when, it was Becky Lynch, first woman to hold two of the belts at the same time. But even then, WWE knew they had to cut that suit. They had to cut that as well. So she drops the SmackDown title at Money in the Bank. And right now we got Bayley as, Bayley Doe Straps, she's double belted champion. And that's not going to last long either. She's not going to lose. Personally, she's not going to lose to Nikki Cross, but that belt, she's going to lose either the tag belts or the SmackDown belt before the SummerSlam pay-per-view. That's my guess. But the main focus here with Lee, other than that cutaway, the fact that when after that match, and that fact came across on NXT, Keith Lee, the first black African American black man to hold that NXT belt other than Big E. The gap between those years. Big E had that belt in the early days of NXT. And then leading up to NXT right now with Keith Lee. I don't know how all of you want to read into that, but to me that does speak volumes. I mean, NXT is pure talent there. Fantastic. We've had all different kinds of wrestlers of shapes, sizes, of different origins, and of different skin color hold that belt, and of different nationalities as well. So I'm making no excuses and no complaints towards NXT. And I had tweeted this out earlier in the day that that Keith Lee winning that belt, it gave me those vibes. It gave me those feelings I had when Kofi won at Mania. It's two different stories. And I avoided those spoilers like crazy. The moment I saw the headline, NXT spoiled, no. I muted my Twitter, my social media for like a day, which in social media time is 3 weeks. Or that's just me. But I still enjoyed this match. I went in for the journey. I went in to watch this match for the story they gave me. And I loved it. Loved the ending. I want to see definitely what Keith Lee's going to do with that big belt moving down the road.
All right, before we wrap up real quick, what did you guys think of
Jacob didn't say nothing.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
What?
Thought he
did he?
Yeah, he
I
did.
started off.
Did you?
Yeah,
oh, okay. Oh yeah, he's always so fast. All right, I didn't know if you want to add more. Oh, my fault. Go ahead, brother.
I thought I got him. Real quick, what did everybody think of Io Shirai's little promo for her defense with Tegan Knox next week? I thought it was weird as hell. Like, I didn't like it. It was weird as hell.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a misfire. I think, maybe it was a last minute thing, which I don't know why. I guess because, we got AEW is going to probably put out another performance, especially with the tag team. Tag team. We got the AEW heavyweight title on the line next week. So I think NXT is trying to scramble, put matches together. So yeah, I think it was a misfire. I agree.
All right.
Yeah, it was a little bit off there. The fact, I mean, I normally enjoy most of Io's promos because mainly with the shots, she's not ever. I mean, as a Japanese wrestler, she's staying true to her language. She's speaking only Japanese as her character. She only says English she only speaks 3 or 4 or 5 words in English when she wants to be serious. Other than that, she is like straight laced. But this was definitely bad timing when it comes down to it. It was just bad timing, honestly.
Right on. Barber, did you see it?
No, I must have missed that.
It's really weird. It's like this underwater sort of back and forth, like with her and Tegan Knox. It's just really weird. On that note, guys, we've been going almost 2 hours. I do want to say real quick, if you haven't seen it, go to the AEW YouTube channel and check out the Puppy Bowl. Spoiler, Puppy Penelope Ford and Puppy MJF both win. Tony Schiavone dropped a line that was hysterical. That was the best thing he's called, better than anything he called in 2000. Give it definitely a look. Paynemaker, real quick, where can people find you online?
Well, people can definitely find me on Suplex City Chats. If this continues on Twitch, y'all can find me here, or you can find us definitely on the YouTube channel of Suplex City Chats, which is TMG Entertainment. You guys can follow me on Letterboxd, but this is not this movie's later. But you guys can follow me socially on Facebook and Twitter. Twitter handle is caramel_pain, and of course, go on Facebook and find me Ryan Payne.
Our one half, the Dudley Boys, Mr. Jacob the Barber. Where can people find you, homie?
You can find me on Facebook. Just search my name, Jacob Barber. You can find me over at Nerd Entertainment Network, where I'm part of the Combat Wrestling Trivia League. Got a pretty big match coming soon. You guys should all watch that. And you can catch me here Thursday nights. Catch me on TMG. I got a couple debate matches coming up in a couple of different leagues, so looking forward to those. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Villain, where can people find you? After you hit that, of course.
You can find me right here. They should have banged the logo right now because, of course, everybody watching live, we appreciate that. Spread the word, that you're watching some guys, giving real insight into the wrestling world right now going on. We're the place to be, and that's at Suplex City right here. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and of course, you can find me. I have my own YouTube channel, which is you can find us on Facebook first. Step one is on Facebook. It's called Jack of All Trivia. We have all different divisions there when it comes to trivia, and that's where you can find us there, get a match, and of course, you can find me on YouTube at Jack of All Trivia, where I'm hosting matches or just watching the good matches from all the different divisions. Thank you, Matt.
Absolutely. You can find me right here hosting Suplex City Chats Saturday. We will be live at the same time on YouTube and Twitch. We do a Saturday night kind of sit down and bullshit. We call After Dark. This week, if you know the Movie Trivia Schmodown, which they do run shows on Twitch, we will be having the Barbarian come by and talk with us. Just announced that he's going to be making a run in the singles tournament. We'll drop by for that. If you're on Twitch, please hit that follow button so you know what's going on. You can also find me. I am the Game Zone Commissioner right here on TMG Entertainment. You want to get into debating games, I'm the man to talk to, as well as myself, Paynemaker, and a couple others. We also run our own little trivia league that we call Titan Trivia. We have matches coming out a couple of times a week now. We've got teams, Inner Geekdom. We definitely have what we call franchise wars. We're going to start off with Star Wars right now, then we're going to move into various different, basically fandom series, whatever you want to call it.
Franchises,
Yeah, so definitely check us out there at Titan Trivia on YouTube and Facebook, as well as you can find me at Matt Graham right on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week, and we will be discussing what's happening else in the rest of the wrestling world leading up to the horror show at Extreme Rules. We may talk a little bit next week about Slammiversary because we don't really talk Impact here, but there is a lot of WWE wrestlers that have been teased to be joining us. So again, please like, subscribe, comment. If you are watching us on Twitch, don't forget to hit that follow button. And everybody, thanks for joining us in Suplex City.